All right, what is up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the Movie Bites,
Yes.
where we are going to break down our favorite movies, new old movies, see if they really still are good to this day. And we're gonna kick it off with the first episode on discussing our thoughts on Jeepers Creepers. Oh man, am I excited for this one?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yes. The real question in lies is Jeepers Creepers. Does it still hold up to this day? Is the new one any good? Should you spend your time watching the new one? Sit here and find out.
Cue the coolest intro to the Movie Bites podcast ever.
Overall, like, what were your expectations going back into it? Like, when we decided that this would be kind of our first episode, what was your expectations kind of going back into watching the Creepers series?
So coming back to it now that it's like what movie came out in 2001, and shoot, when I saw that thing in 2003 probably, but coming back to it now, it's he's still creepy. Like he's still pretty cool. Like seeing him like do what he does. He like has all these tools. He has his truck, and he has even stuff inside the truck like that can kill, and not just alone him. And he's just still a badass. Like I have no problem with him. Like just killing these people because he's so cool. You know, and it was just interesting film. Like in the first one, we got to see just like his where he has a hideout. It's like in a isolated church, and there's just crows sitting around it. Like that's just like a syndicate of like death. Like I don't know, seeing black crows is just like it just shows me like oh death is around. But in this case, like he's just dumping bodies, and you see Justin Long playing Derry Jenner in the film, and along with his sister, they're like on a cross country road trip. I believe they're going to go visit family, and they come across them. Well, he actually come across them. They're just driving along the road, and the Jeepers comes up maniacally honking his horn, bumping the car. It's just so cool to see like that moment happen because they're just driving along the road. The car is just you see in the background is slowly just coming up creeper like just who he is, and he's just doing his thing, and that's just like not even the craziest part to them. It's just so crazy. Who is this guy? He's a maniac. He's trying to run us off the road. Like no, you need to be even more scared of who he is and what he is. And I just think that's just like the funny crazy like thing about it. um, the further they get along with knowing and finding out who he is in the long
Yeah,
run.
I think for me that was like the most interesting. Going back to it, honestly, my expectations, I didn't know what to expect. I was like a little bit scared going back into the movies just because I was like, I was just scared it wouldn't live up to the horrific nightmares. I thought of it and had high praise as a little child. Obviously, you find things a lot scarier when you're older, or when you're younger. I'm sorry. And so with this movie, I just didn't know what to expect. But I think even going back into it, almost 20 years later,
Yeah.
it still got its elements. Now, the creeper himself, I remember him like I didn't even want to look at the movie like itself, the casing, the
Mm-hmm.
DVD case, because I was like, oh, that it just scared me just
Yeah.
by looking at it. But now looking back at it, I think his design in the first one, what they did perfectly is they used kind of the shadow of night, and I felt like they kept like that mysterious of like who is the creeper.
Mm-hmm.
Is he just a man? Is he a demon? Like, what exactly is he? And you're kind of going along the ride with Justin Long and his sister. The whole movie, you're just like trying to figure out bits and pieces, like why exactly it is that he's going after. Who he's going after. How does he choose? And all these questions were going in my head. And it wasn't until the second one that I was kind of catching on. But one of the things that I noticed is what I like too is like they made his sister kind of a badass. Like she wasn't scared. She was like standing up to him,
Mm-hmm.
and like she was just like with the car. The scene where they ran him over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like he was pretty like chicken with him, you know, and he's like, I'm not scared. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna get up after this hit. Like it was pretty cool. And yeah, you're right. The sister wasn't as scared. The brother, he was the one that really, died at the end. you know, as a kid, I was like, man, why is he dying? Like, you know, like I didn't understand that. And then, you know, coming to find out, like he goes off of fear, and and I didn't really realize, you know, that going back, you know, watching that as a kid, I didn't see that. I just hated that ending so much. Like, I loved the movie, but the
Yeah.
ending was just like, man, I
I
really
agree
wish
there
it was
with you.
somebody else, you know, a cop or him to take off. But the brother, I love Justin Long. I
Right. And I think I feel that, and that's like going back to it though. You could see like as a character, like as a character himself, like Darius, is it Darius?
Daryl,
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 man.
it's okay.
But it's all good. But but like as you're going through the movie, you see every single instance of where he's like really the scared one compared to his sister,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's just like, for example, when they get to the diner, he's the one like the most shook up one, and the creeper he goes through his drawers, he got a cell, he got a whiff
Yeah.
of his clothes. I thought that part was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was like, you know, man, this guy went through my clothes, like he smelled all my stuff, like it is creepy, but hey, he is the creeper, and he's like, wow, in that way, like when he's going through his clothes and he's just really like toying with Justin throughout the movie more than anything, it's just like, hey man, I like to play with my food, you know, and it's really like, wow, it's funny, you know, at the end of the day, it's really funny.
No, 100%. And like with that, like also I think the cool part, the part that made it scary as well,
Mm-hmm.
was just the fact that they added the cops in there, and it's like you kind of they're kind of your go-to safety, like, oh, just call the cops, just call the cops,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In horror movies, but in this case, it's like
The cops can't
not even the cops could do anything about it, and
They
it's
can't.
just like adds to the character, like, dude, like what the heck? How do you even kill it?
Yeah, we're
And I
shooting
think
him.
that kind of and that got me thinking in terms of Jeepers Creepers, kind of into going into number two,
Mm-hmm.
where the story kind of picks up. Of this one is so this just so you guys know the way that this order of the movie is. It's the first one, then the third one, and then the ending of the third one picks up where the second one begins. So that's the chronological order. So it's the first movie, first Jeepers Creepers.
Uh-huh.
Jeepers Creepers number three happens
Three.
right after Justin is taken from the police
From the
station,
police station.
and then the second Jeepers Creepers number two. That one is where the kids get into the bus and they go to the football game,
Right, they're yeah.
away game, and I think that one really sparked my curiosity in terms of like what exactly is a creeper. I understand he's going off fear, but like there's little things, like for example, when the cheerleader, she started getting like a psychic connection, right? That was really interesting to me because I was like, dude, in my head, I'm like, okay, is he using that psychic connection to kind of play with his victims? Because it's kind of like, oh, if they don't know who I am, they can't be scared of me. But if I use a vessel and use the souls of the people that I have killed in the past,
Right.
you know, like, am I able to instill the fear? Kind of like the boogeyman, right? Like the boogeyman doesn't exist or have any power
Mm-hmm.
up until you know that the boogeyman, there's a
Yeah.
possibility of the boogeyman being real
Mhm.
and that fear being very prevalent.
Yeah, and like, you know, they can create their own like stories. They can create their own, you know, just scary memories, you know, and just kind of create that. And I like what you did there when you said that, because like I guess none of the people on that bus were scared, and so for him to kind of connect with somebody, he had to like do that in order to kind of be like, hey, this is what he is. He comes every 23 days. He eats for 23 days, and he comes every 23 years. And they're just like, whoa, what the heck? Like, what is this thing? You know? And it's like, all right. From that point on, it's like now people are starting to get scared. People are starting to worry. And then from there, it's like, now let me start picking my people who starts to get more scared off at the end of the day. And that person that is the most scared, I'm going after. Like, that's what the creeper's mindset is.
Yeah, and that kind of brings up a good question because it's like, how do you like? I understand it's obviously he goes off fear, but like, is there a specific number of people that he kind of goes after? Because one of the topics that kind of goes again and again
Mm-hmm.
is like they talk about, okay, cool, the creeper, he picks you out of fear, and the moment he picks you, is you're basically dead. Like,
Yeah.
you're done for, right? But at the same time, it's like, how many people does he exactly hunt for? Does he just kind of keep going until the 23 days are gone, and it's like basically a high score? He's like, all right, how many people can I get this year,
Yeah.
or this time around?
Basically.
But that's kind of like what's got me, I guess, got my head spinning.
Pondering, just about the creeper itself. Okay. Yeah, and with the second one, diving into that one, these students, they're on a bus trying to just go to this baseball game, and the creeper actually comes across them. So with this, I'm used to the creeper hunting at night. So like during the day, I feel like that's where he finds his people that he wants to hunt for. Like, all right, this person's scared the most. Like in the first one, he gets them with the truck, Justin Long and his sister. The second one, he has a school bus where it's a whole school bus full of like kids, teens, and then there's like some adults. He like picks the adults away first, and then I guess they just weren't the most scared. So he's like, let me just get rid of them. And then he goes after the students, but now let me instill fear and pick my favorite person that I want to take home with me before I go back into hibernation. And so as he's doing that, he's just scaring them. He's throwing knives, which was so cool. Like that moment with Justin Long, and he's like, "Go back, like go turn around." Like,
and that brings us like, and that's what I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, cool. Does he use the souls, or do the souls still have free will?
That actually was interesting. Like seeing it again as an adult, because as a kid, I only was like, "Oh my God, Justin Long is back! Like that's cool,"
right.
But he's dead, and it's like, how did he return? But now that I'm watching it, now I'm older, it's like, oh, it's just a psychic dream, and Justin Long just in the scene. He's just creating fear.
Right, but it's almost like his actual soul is like is there.
It's
like
there.
That same goes with the little kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you remember that scene with when the bus first gets like hit with the knife from the creeper?
Yeah.
The woman tried pulling it out, and she gets
it's
cut,
sharp.
but it's sharp. And then the man pulls it out, and he twists it, and it's the tattoo from Justin Long's tummy. I was like, whoa! I did not see that at first as a kid, and I was like, oh my God, that is just so like cool.
What if? Oh, that's pretty cool. What if?
Yeah.
Like in terms of that, maybe that's how. Because I was like, okay,
foreshadowing Justin Long to come.
Well, not even that, but it's like the body pieces that he uses. Like, so let's say he uses Justin Long's like part of the body for that. So that explains why Justin Long was able to kind of come through as a soul, because they used his weapon, right, part of his body.
Yeah.
And then the little kid, maybe something was made out of. I'm not too sure, but like maybe something could have been made out of the little kid, and so that's why they saw the little kid as well.
Yeah, because he was popping up. That were actually when that little kid and Justin Long were kind of like neck and neck, like just like the quick cuts. Like I was like, whoa. That kind of made me jump a little bit. I was like, oh man, I haven't like really been scared like that. But that part did creep me as a kid. I loved watching horror movies, and especially Jeepers Creepers. But that little scene where the kid cuts and then Justin Long cuts, like that one scared me those, because it was Justin Long at first, and then it cuts to the kid all bloodied up because it's from the creeper's claws when he was dragging him at the first beginning of the film, and then he takes off with him in the sky. Like that part, just really scared me, and it was just super creepy. But along with the film, as with that kid, he gets taken from his father and his brother, and so that father is just like so out of his mind. He's like, well, my son is gone, and I'm after this person that killed my son. And so he's going along in the movie too, and he's like starting to like gear up. He's starting to sharpen tools. He's taking the knife that the creeper left, and I really thought was cool that when he had held it, when his son had found it, his oldest son had found it, gave it to his father in the scene, and like he's holding it, and it just imaginally just goes from his hand and stabs into like the lamp into the wall. I was like,
going
whoa.
back, kind of like going back. He's recalling
recalling his knife.
Like magic.
Yeah, and it's like he's just stunned. Like at first he's just stunned that his son's gone, and then he's stunned again that the knife just slips from his hand and it just goes into the wall. Like what the fuck is going on, And so he's along for the ride too, and he's trying to just find this creeper and just get rid of it and kill it. I guess he just had to come to terms that his son is dead, but along with that, that's like really the criminal thing of the film. And at the end of the film, we finally get to see that final showdown, and I thought was cool. him shining his light, and when the wings expand, like you can see the creeper in full effect. You see the wings just fucking just out, like out there. You can just see like the goriness, the ugliness, the special effects like was just amazing on his face. Like he looks sweaty. Like it's surprising he has gray hair, but like bro, I don't know, shave it off. Like you're done for. Like it's just there kind of. I'm like, might as well just get rid of it. I know that's why you probably wear the hat, but it's just like, wow, you can see the creeper in just such a different light in this second film rather than the first one. Because the first one, you really didn't know what it was. You just ate people, and it was off fear. The second one, you got to see more of like this man likes to. Yes, he plays with his food, but it's like you're just seeing like, you're just seeing like the creeper for who he is. Like you got to just see that in this movie, and I was like, whoa. Compared from the first one, and then there's the third one, and you know, with the third one, it's like he's hunting during the day, and I wasn't really used to seeing that, and doing that, so it was like a little off for me, and I don't know what else to say with the third one, but
You don't.
I really don't. I didn't really know what to say with the
third one is kind of a. I felt like the third one was a tease, like. Just because, like, I know one lady touches, like, an artifact of his or something of his. I forget what exactly. But then she, like, understands what the creeper is.
Doesn't she connect with the creeper?
Right. And that goes back to, like, why does he connect with Giselle from the first one? Why does he connect with Minxie?
And that was at the end of the film.
Minxie
right?
in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Third one, but I believe she ends up dying. So it's just, like, cool. That's just kind of, like, it's just, like, a tease.
Yeah.
But... it's cool because there is a comic book that was 5 issues, I believe, 5 issues long, and the YouTuber, I'll put the links in the description below, Acidglow, he kind of covers it, and it was a really well put together of just like video of like everything you need to know about the Jeepers Creepers within those issues, and it was cool going through it because it really. I would say it confirmed some of my suspicions as I was going through the movie. And one of those was like once he consumes you, you become a part of him, like the soul, right? And what's interesting with him specifically, and I think it goes back to what makes the creeper scary, I don't think it's so much as like the makeup and the artist or like and the design of him. Well, that's, don't get me wrong, it's creepy as hell. What really makes him scary is like that kind of like what makes Michael Myers scary is like you can't kill this mother, you know, like you can't. He's one hard creature to go down, and it turns out that he may be a demon that has been on the earth longer than man himself, because he's depicted back where like the Mayans, when they would sacrifice, right? They would sacrifice. People to appease the gods, and it was the creeper.
Wow.
Right, and he actually there might be a connection to the Roanoke colony in 1583. So this was a group of settlers. They disappeared without a trace, and this is like an actual story, right? They disappeared without a trace, and people don't know if the colony was murdered or assassinated, or it joined forces with nearby Native Americans at that time, with the Native American tribes. And in the creeper mythology, though, there is a possibility that they might have had an encounter with the creeper, and the reason that is because in one of the scenes where the creeper is killing someone, they have the word, I believe it's Croatan. And so that word was carved in the tree. No one knows what it means. No one knows like what it is. But like at the end of the day, that could be a sign that the creeper was, obviously, has been there, done that, and
he's actually
one of the victims.
Yeah, he's actually real. That's
so that's pretty cool.
That is interesting. But we'd also talk about the Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Honestly, I watched 46 minutes and 23 seconds of that film.
God, dude, Jesus Christ!
It was really a big WTF to the face.
It was a big L.
Yeah, that too. It, like, the creeper looks completely different. The creeper, oh my god. when he did his second kill, he was just like this. You know, I'm like, what is he doing? Like, I didn't understand that, and the CGI was kicking my butt to the max. So much, so much. I would talk more, but I didn't finish the film. I didn't. It was
You couldn't. Yeah, the
I
first
couldn't.
time.
It's very
The first
cringy.
time I remember, I couldn't even. I couldn't even finish the freaking film. I was sitting there, bored as heck. I fell asleep. I, I just couldn't. Right,
Yeah,
and
yeah, we
with
couldn't.
that, I
We
think
couldn't.
it's one of the worst in the like. I don't. I think it was a reboot, so like it was supposed to be like a
It
remaster
was,
of
yes,
the
it was
story.
it was a
Thank
reboot,
God it's
yeah,
not
it was-
canon because I cannot. What really really annoyed me, was
Let's say.
I'm setting the actors aside, right?
Okay.
Like the actors as the actors, but like their acting in the movie, their characters, it did not feel genuine.
Uh-huh.
It felt like they were friends or like one dude was trying to, like his fiance or whatever.
The one he was trying to marry, yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like the relationship was it was not believable.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing for me. It's just like it felt so fake.
The guy was so energetic all the time. Like, I'm like, that's like, I don't know. I feel like it's hard to do when like you're filming. He's just like, yeah, I feel friendship, but damn, he's just so energetic, and he's having his fucking so-called fiance or soon to be, just like, oh yeah, dress up for me real quick. Oh yeah, let's go to this party thing that like she's not even into, and he's into, and he's like, oh my god, this is crazy.
That's
And-
where it didn't really make sense to
Yeah,
me
I
as
didn't
far
get
as
the
like,
whole- I didn't
oh,
get the
this is
vibe.
for our anniversary.
Yeah.
It was really one-sided.
Like,
what?
I don't see two sides there. Yeah, I get,
Yeah.
what I'd seen, I was like, okay. And then when they get to the hotel, oh, I guess we're the only ones in here. I'm like, what? How was that? Like, how was that a thing?
Yeah, and it has a whole subplot where they're trying to. Are they trying to reincarnate the babe, like
Oh, and when
into the baby, or
I don't know, I didn't get so far, but when the creeper came out from the barn, I thought they were bringing that back from the second one because obviously he was hung up at a barn, and the old man and the oldest son were waiting on him to just return so they can just take him out again. Whatever the case is, I don't know what. We never got that much. I wish we did, but when he came out that barn, I was like, okay, this is like
it
weird.
was definitely like more of an homage to I think to how the second one ended,
Mm.
because with
Yeah.
later down in the movie, like obviously they go into the haunted spoilers. I mean, realistically, don't go watch the movie. It's not
The Reborn.
Reborn.
Don't watch.
Don't watch,
Yeah,
please.
please.
It's-
waste your time.
waste of your time. Boring.
$6.99 on Amazon Prime. Worst movie.
Oh shit! You paid for the movie?
I did.
Yeah. Cut this out. Cut this out. Yeah, it was just not a fun time. I just don't like what they did. The creeper himself, I felt like it didn't have like the anonymous feel. It just felt like they were just using the creeper because it's the creeper. You're supposed to be scared, but realistically,
Yeah.
it just goes back to showing like the costume could be all cool, but I don't think it was.
Yeah, and like the only thing I liked in the movie, those 40 minutes I'd seen, was I don't know what they're called, but it's part of his head, and then like they detach, and I've noticed it. It happens right before he's about to go and when his 23 days is up.
It's kind of like I don't know if you ever watched or played the game The Last of Us.
I never
It's like
did.
they're like flower zombies where like they.
Yeah, so
Or
like,
the Demigorgon from Stranger Things. That would be a better.
Oh, okay.
So it's just like kind of opens.
Yeah, so
thing
those things that open on his head, like the only thing I liked was his first kill when he went in and just like killed that guy taking a piss, and he just like used that to like really eat him up. And I was like, I never got to see that in the first 3 movies, and we never got to see that. We just got to see him open it up and just being like, all right, I think that's an indication of him about to be going into hibernation. But this one, he actually can use it to kill. The closest we got to was the second one at the end, where he was when he went through that truck and his arm got ripped off, his leg got ripped off, and he was jumping and hopping over to that.
Oh,
man at the
dude,
end
that
of
I
the
felt that was so funny when he was like just playing leapfrog trying to get to him.
Like he woke up from the explosion and he was just like, huh?
He didn't have his arm.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to the second one. I found I think it had some comedic elements to it because when the creeper's at the bus and he's like just scaring the kids and he has his thing open for like the smelling them out.
Oh,
and
that
they're all
part.
standing in the line.
Mhm.
They're like, me? They just step aside. me? He's like, no.
Then he's like,
Until the last one,
mm-hmm.
he licks the.
Yeah, he licks the. I'm like, oh, he wants you. Like he did the, shh, and then he did the little teeth thing. Like he was doing all this, then he winked.
That was I found that to be
And he
pretty
said,
funny.
Move over, buddy. And yeah, once he sees that final person, he's like, he just looks so like your mouth watering.
Yeah, and it's cool kind of how like they kind of turn against them. I think one of the parts that really got me excited throughout the movie, I remember rewatching it, and like when this happened, I was like, yes, I want more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Is when I believe Dante, he died.
Yes.
And then kind of you see the groups kind of splitting into two, where he's just like
from when they run from the bus and then they all just start.
Yeah, the reason they run is because then there's tension between everyone. And they're like,
because they the guy inside the bus didn't open up the door. He's like, open up the door, bro. Come on, man. He's just sitting there, just like panicking himself. He's like, nah, man. If I'm not trying to die, so you guys just better start running. I thought that was messed up. I was like, wow, this guy is such a douche.
Yeah, and I think it's like it opens up where they kind of create the us versus you type of scenario within their own group, because he's like, no, you guys got chosen. Like so you guys can stay in this bus, be dead meat, and be easy kill for the Jeepers Creepers, but I'm gonna go out, get some help, and like leave this place. And like ultimately everyone kind of gets chased, and it's just like,
and then he actually just starts really ripping off everybody that he didn't even pick on the bus. He even goes after people that were like, oh, his favorite. So it's just like interesting. It's like, oh,
yeah, where Scotty, he basically leads the charge and goes kind of commando, and he kind of sets the tone. It's just like, bro, it kind of puts you in a real life, like what would really happen if that were to happen to a group of kids. It's like, bro, just like the Lord of the Flies, right, where they have like their own little group and they turn into savages, because it's like survival of the fittest at that point. It's no longer buddy, but it's just like bringing this element of like the environment, tension, and it kind of adds that suspense of just like, oh shoot, are they gonna start killing each other, or like what's gonna happen?
what's gonna it really does bring a cool vibe. Yes, and Scotty did bring that tension to the group, because they just all of them were scared. All of them wanted to just stay alive, but they also didn't want to just hey man, he wanted you, and you're just gonna have to go outside and just deal with your death.
Would you recommend someone rewatching the Jeepers Creepers series?
Like one all the way through Reborn.
Well, there's your answer. He says, nah. Reborn, he's like, nah, don't waste your time on Reborn.
Okay, I'm asking, but only watch the first two. Don't spend your money, your time on the Jeepers Creepers 3 and Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Just don't do it. Just please don't. But for the first two, yes. You know, the first two were really good. And they actually held their, ground, their tone, you feeling scared, you knowing the unknown, trying to know the unknown. And
kind of like similar to Sinister. I feel like Sinister is obviously like a whole different vibe, but like in terms of like you're kind of like with the detective trying to figure out, piece it all together. At least for me, that's what it was. Number 1 and 2 were definitely like me trying to go along, like putting in my head, putting pieces of the puzzles together of who exactly is the creeper. Why does he only do 23 days? How does he choose his victims? Why is he choosing to share himself and like a little bit of who he is, or like his visions, or like that psychic power with Minxie, with Giselle? Like, what does it all mean? And like questions like that kind of kept me going through it. And I just don't think the questions, like the mythology and all that, was there for 3, or for Reborn. I'm sorry. Yeah. So at the end of the day, Jeepers Creepers, watch 1, 2, skip 3. You could. I mean, if you really want to, you could do 3. Reborn, no.
Yeah, doesn't exist.
No,
doesn't exist.
No.
Just like the Last Airbender. Just put it that way. It doesn't exist.
M. Night Shyamalan, surprise twist.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Let's just say M. Night Shyamalan directed Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Let's put it
if that keeps you away from it, then I think that's...
If it does, then you will know what we're talking about when it comes to Reborn.
That said, hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys liked it, leave a like. If you want to tell us your thoughts on the Jeepers Creepers theory or the movies. And if you watched Reborn, which I hope you didn't, but if you did, let us know how it was. Maybe we got it the take completely wrong.
Maybe.
But Be sure like, subscribe, dislike it if you dislike it. You can't really see it, so it doesn't matter. But that said, till next time, guys. This was Movie Bites, episode 1.
Yes.
Peace out.